Hi, it's Kirby Summers. Today is Thursday, April 25th, and this podcast is about I'm just stunned about Harvey Weinstein and the ruling that happened today, basically letting him walk out of jail. So I'm just going to go over how he ended up in jail. So in October of 2017, as you're aware, Ronan Farrow wrote an article for the New Yorker, which everyone should read. And it dealt with the many assault allegations. And in particular, it dealt with the fact that David Boies, who also represented the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, hired an Israeli based intelligence firm to follow people that had made allegations against him, such as Rose McGowan and other actresses like Rosanna Arquette, in addition to Ronan Farrow. The allegations that were exposed in October of 2017 dated back to the 1970s. At that point, Weinstein was dismissed from his company, and he was expelled from the Academy of Motion Picture of Arts and Sciences. Now, here's the thing. More than 80 women made allegations of either harassment or the R word against Weinstein by that date. And basically, this is what set off the Me Too movement. And what led to the ability to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein and prosecute Jean-Luc Brunel and prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell. And many other people that were prosecuted under the hashtag Me Too that was used by everyone, including myself and most of you who follow my work. He was arrested in May of 2018, and he was charged with the R word in New York. And then in February of 2020, he was found guilty of 2 out of 5 felony counts. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison, and he began serving his sentence at the Wend Correctional Facility. I think it was in the middle of July of 2021, he was extradited to Los Angeles, California, where he faced another trial. And in that trial as well, he was found guilty of 3 out of the 7 charges. He was then sentenced separately in that trial to another 16 years. And his California prison term was, they did what's considered a nice thing. So instead of no, actually what they did, it's to be served separately. Okay, so it added 16 years to the original 23 years. So it was to be served separately. Okay. However, today, April 25th, the New York Court of Appeals, where he has been trying to overturn the case, as is Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way, and almost everyone that's listening to this podcast right now is aware that they were friends. We've all seen their photograph of Harvey Weinstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein attending the birthday party for, I believe it's Prince Andrew's daughter Beatrice when she turned 18. And this was held in the UK, of course. So today, on April 25th, 2024, the New York Court of Appeals overturned the R convictions. The court said that the trial judge had made egregious errors. That is the term that they're using for this. The Court of Appeals has ordered a retrial of the R allegations. Now, he's not out on the street walking, He isn't in jail because he was convicted of the R word in Los Angeles. But it is still unclear as to whether or not Weinstein is going to be transferred to California, where he will be incarcerated for those crimes, or whether he's going to continue serving time in New York. And so I know that everyone feels that he's been let out of jail. But here's what the New York Times wrote today. So this is by the New York Times, and I'm just going to read the first two comments, or maybe the first three. The 2020 conviction of Harvey Weinstein on felony crime charges in Manhattan was overturned by New York's top court. The ruling by the New York Court of Appeals said that the trial judge in Mr. Weinstein's case, Justice James M. Burke, erred in letting prosecutors call some women as witnesses who said Mr. Weinstein had assaulted them, but whose accusations were not included as charges. The appeals court found that Mr. Weinstein, the disgraced Hollywood producer whose case ignited the Me Too movement, had not received a fair trial. In a statement, a spokeswoman for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office said, "We will do everything in our power to retry this case and remain steadfast in our commitment of survivors of sexual assault." And then it says again, what I just repeated to you earlier, that he still is being held liable for the 16 years in prison for the California conviction. And according to the New York Times, he will be sent to California to continue his sentence there. And that's what we have. So he's not out of jail, but in my opinion, the New York District Attorney, who has been on the side of Weinstein, protecting him for many years, on the side of Epstein, and really on the side of Maxwell. And there are a lot of political connections that I write about, again, on my Substack regarding this case, specifically the Epstein case and Ghislaine Maxwell. There are a lot of political connections, and again, multi-generational, the sons of the grandfathers who have been in office for a very long time, who I believe will not be pursuing this case. It's my opinion. I do not believe New York will pursue any further case against Harvey Weinstein. That said, unless something really dramatic happens, he will still be serving his sentence for what happened in Los Angeles. Thank goodness for that trial. However, this is a big slap in the face for every victim, not just the victims of Harvey Weinstein, but every victim who stepped forward with renewed confidence in our system, because even when we think we have scored a point, a minuscule point, after how many decades? It's 2024. How many decades have women and boys and children had to put up with abuse of this sort? So this is a big step backwards. That just means we have to keep pushing forward, guys. Okay, I'd like to see your comments. Thank you. Bye.